Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. What makes GabNet talk like you've never heard before? Well, it's the citizen panel concept. Our talk hosts talk to a whole group of people at the same time. Want to be a citizen panel member and add to the conversation? It's simple. First, download Skype. Answer 4 simple questions during the install. You know, your personal stuff, first name, last name, email address, and most importantly, the ID you want us to know you by. Then, from Add Contacts on Skype, enter GabNet Live. Become a contact, and you're ready to go. Now, if you're a Luddite and you hate computers, you could use the telephone, just like Grandma had back in the day. Call 347-352-0079 to connect via voice. Don't be shy. It's fun and addictive. Now, the last time I did this promo, I said if you don't call, I'd kill my dog. Of course, I was kidding, but then I accidentally killed him. So, to replace Fluffy, I got this cuddly pussycat. And now, if you don't call, I'll kill this cat. Don't worry, Sylvester. I won't let them hurt you. I'm not kidding. Call now or Sylvester gets it. Again? Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the citizen panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too, in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours?
You can listen to the Great American Broadcast Network for its engaging conversation or its entertaining hosts. Or you can just listen and play the GabNet drinking game. Is Phil Meyer right or wrong?
I was looking at the headlines. I guess Britain is going to die a strange death.
Wrong. Drink.
The Chinese are building up a drone warfare army ready to attack.
Wrong. Drink.
The financial health is overstated in the year 2000.
Wrong. Drink.
Bengali wants human remains. Now, I did read that article, and they want to talk to Hillary Clinton's aides.
Wrong. Drink. The Great American Broadcast Network. Come for the facts, or twist open a bottle and just have a good time. GabNet.net, a tune-in partner. Drink responsibly.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey! everybody. I'm Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble, and it goes on from now until midnight Eastern Time, okay? In the United States, I might add. For those of you who are around the world, let me not, forget it. English is a second language to me, and it's a problem these days. Anyway, listen, I got something to show you. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me go over and get it. For those of you who are watching us on video, you know, if you're listening to us on audio, you can also watch us on video by going to gabnet.net or by going over to YouTube and putting in Alex Bennett, and some stuff will come up, including a live feed that's going on right now. Or you can just listen to the audio. That's fine with me, too. I think that's spiffy. I went and I bought this. Not this part, this thing, the camera. And that's a GoPro. Now, I've had GoPros before. This is the third GoPro I've bought. I bought the GoPro 3, and I bought the GoPro 5, and now this is the 7. Now, how is this different? Well, I used to have a thing, and I could go over and get it. I'm not going to get it. And it's called a gimbal. Well, I'll show you. What the hell. I did this last night. I may as well do it again tonight. What it was is that I bought a thing called a gimbal. These things were, I think, $300 a piece at GoPro. And what a gimbal does is, let me turn it on here. This is kind of really spooky what it does once I turn it on. It then, look, see? It suddenly turns itself on. And what it does is that no matter where I go, it keeps level. So it's a very smooth action that I get when I'm shooting. And this was fine, except, of course, this whole thing, which has a battery in it and it's heavy, and sometimes the thing doesn't automatically work, although lately it's been working perfectly because it found out I got the new one. Well, how's that different than this? This does away, I mean, I could take the camera out of here, and it does away with having to have the gimbal, okay? Let me turn it off. So that, I love it. It's so spooky when it does that. It goes limp. Okay. Well, anyway, this is the new one, and it does everything that does. In other words, it doesn't jiggle around. If I move a lot, you know, like trouble is when you're walking holding a GoPro, you could always see in the picture, you know. Here it's got a gimbal quality steady cam in it or whatever. And it's terrific. And it's got a lot of other features too, and it's got 4K. And the battery goes for about, I don't know, a half hour before you got to change it, but it's very easy to change. And so yesterday I decided to take it out for its first major test to see if I could actually turn out a video using it. And I went out to see my friend Shecky, so I took this with me, only armed with this, okay, and shot what you're about to see. This is about 25 minutes long. It's another one of my boring home movies, but I think you'll probably enjoy it. So let's have a trip to Shecky's, my first ever production with the brand new GoPro 7. Okay, we're on our way to see Shecky out in Queens. Got to take a cab to the train, take the train to another train, take that train to another train, and then go up all the way to Queens to Jamaica Estates. So that's what our bill of fare is for today. This is a fairly new subway station. This is the new subway line, which is 2nd Avenue. He's in a rush. Really nice station. Really nice station. Here we go. down to the F train. This is Jamaica, Queens, and we're going to Jamaica Estates, where, by the way, Donald Trump grew up. There's Shecky. He always comes to visit me here, pick me up down here. But I gotta get across the street to get to him. Hold on a second, Shecky. There we go. There we go. Hello.
Oh, were you live tweeting?
Huh?
What, were you live videoing?
No. This is a new toy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, this is the newest GoPro.
Oh, I think that guy's going out of business.
Oh, is he really? Because
he's losing billions.
this is the probably the best one they've ever made, because it's got there's no shake.
Yeah.
There's a built-in gimbal, they call it. You know, like, remember I had that other thing where I had the whole device and it made the camera level?
Yeah.
Well, this has done away with that.
Uh-huh.
So.
No, apparently that guy is losing a
Is that
fortune.
there's Trump's there's Trump's manse. That's where he was that wasn't where he was born.
No, it's right up, it's on the other side of the street.
Yeah. This is the evil neighborhood that spawned the devil.
Yeah, well, you know.
And we're going out to get sushi, so. This is my friend Shecky. The seldom seen Shecky. Except in you invented the selfie.
Yes, I did, and now I don't do them anymore.
And now you don't do them anymore. He took pictures of himself by turning the camera around everywhere in the world.
Actually, seriously, where you couldn't see what you were doing.
Yeah.
Now they have the opposite view cameras, so you know.
Yeah. So you don't do them anymore.
No.
Too bad. That was a treat.
No, I would do like 10 of them to get one of like, oh, that one looks okay.
You didn't know what you were shooting because you couldn't see it.
No.
Yeah.
And I would look at them, and you know, that was that.
Okay, well, it's off to sushi. Yeah.
And there's the car that's really parked.
Oh, this. Look at this. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me show them. This is how some. I can't get this to go down.
No, it's open.
The window goes.
No,
Oh, there's the window. There we go. Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him. He's just. That's his way. He's taking how many spaces do you figure?
It looks
Two
like
spaces. Two spaces.
But it's just because he can't park properly.
Well,
and also the car next to him isn't parked all that well either.
Yeah, but I still. Come on. Come on. Here, this is fine.
Okay.
Okay. This is how we do it, huh?
What?
This is how we do it.
It's always good.
Yeah, this is.
Hello, Ryan. I'm assuming you're Ryan.
Brian.
Diet Coke?
Diet Coke for me too, please. You're just gonna have lots of ginger? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I love ginger.
They have all kinds of stuff here, and it just goes on and on and on. Look at that. Look at all that. Lots of stuff. Sushi. All the sushi you can eat.
Yep.
Here's what I got. I'm eating sushi. I haven't done this in a long time. We're talking about the school across the street where you went to school here, right?
Yes, I did.
And
I was in that room when Kennedy died.
Oh, really? Yeah. And everybody starts getting ready here for their kids to get out. And these people are here really early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is your mansion.
So to speak.
Yeah, well, you know, if he ever moves out, they'll tear it down and put in a mini mansion. What?
No, I just noticed on the that little above the window.
Ah, the pride of home ownership.
Yeah. And there's the brick nobody understands.
Why is the brick there?
It just ended up there one day, and now whenever my contractor comes, he goes, "Why do you have a brick there?" It's like, I don't know. I just like it.
This is the home of Vitaphone Talking Pictures here.
Yes.
Yeah. Where'd you get that?
A friend of mine sells them.
Oh.
I have like 6 more in the house somewhere. I can't remember where I put them.
We have to say that your house. Hold on a second. Let me get through the door here. We always come in through the kitchen. And literally, your house is a
1940s.
No, but it's a museum.
No.
Like comic books a lot. Look at this, folks. Of course, you loved Doc Savage, right?
Oh, yeah.
I always thought Doc Savage was pretty terrific. This is the actual, real, original Captain Marvel. That's the Captain Marvel I remember.
Yeah, well, that's a, C.C. Beck.
Yeah. More.
No, I said it was a C.C. Beck.
Yeah.
I guess I had both lights on.
Oh, here's you as Superman.
Yeah, Alex Ross did that.
Who's Alex Ross?
One of the best comic book artists in the world.
Really? And you did play Superman, as a matter of fact, on...
Did I?
Didn't you play Superman on Letterman?
I don't think so.
I thought you played Superman on Letterman.
No.
Oh, who'd you play? You played somebody.
I don't know.
And more stuff. I mean, these are... What are these? These are the actual drawings they do before they put them in the newspapers.
Well, the one on
right?
top was the when they were getting George Wonder. That's one of his test strips. So never.
Yeah.
When he was replacing Milton Caniff.
And this is Little Abner.
Yeah.
And Winnie Winkle.
Yes. The breadwinner.
And look at this. This is the. This could be the opening to a DC movie. Wow. He is quite the collector, folks. This is not a guy who fucks around. I mean, this is, and you say that this stuff isn't worth anything today?
No, it's worth something.
George Burns.
That was in the free box.
The Flash. Wow. Yeah. Of course, the typical Superman, like this was the original DC.
Well, that's an Alex Ross.
Yeah, but it's a homage to the original. It's the cover of
Action Comics #1.
Yeah. Wow, and signed
by Alex Ross.
By Alex Ross.
Yeah.
And then more.
And this is more Alex Ross stuff and things.
Wow. Jeez almighty. And this stuff you say is not stuff you would probably wind up selling because...
Yeah, why?
Why? Yeah. Look at this. Who are all these people? Who are these old guys?
My grandfather and his brothers.
Oh, really?
There's Scrooge McDuck. That was done by Carl Barks, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. Well, and look, folks, if you go up the stairs, I mean, it's like a fucking museum. Look at this. Look at this.
But if you turn around, it's every Acme product ever made.
Huh?
Behind you.
Behind me, every Acme product ever made.
Roadrunner.
Ah.
Coyote.
Oh, man. And more comics. Who is this? Is
Dolores Del Rio.
Dolores Del Rio. People who are watching this don't even know who I'm talking about when I say Dolores Del Rio. I do. Scrooge McDuck. You love Carl Barks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Carl Barks was the guy who did the comic books. And until recent years, didn't get a lot of credit, did he?
No.
No.
Well, last 25, 30 years, yeah.
There's the Flash comics. There's, well, of course, there's Wonder Woman. S&M, great. Wow. Well, folks, oh, here we go. Who did this one?
It was the Warner store years ago.
At the Warner store?
Yeah.
Really? And is it a painting itself?
I have no idea.
Wow. Anyway, this is, and then Shecky's got even more rooms of memorabilia here. And of course, more Doc Savage, Batman. Wow. What a museum.
Cornucopia of nothing.
No, it's a museum of nothing. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool, Shecky. Thank you for the tour.
You're welcome.
And this is the room we sit in for most of the afternoon while Shecky lies on his bed. Now, mind you, he doesn't have to use this small room for his bed. He's got a big room in there. But this is the room he grew up in and he feels comfortable with, right?
Do you want to hear all the cars coming down Radnor Road hitting those 2 speed bumps?
Right. God. It's fun getting old with you, Shecky.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So this is the room where we sit and talk about probably nothing. Nothing. We talk about movies, television shows, and why I think Arrow stinks now.
Well, Alex, tell me about the Case of the Curious Bride the other day.
Oh, The Case of the Curious Bride was a movie you turned me on to that was shot in San Francisco, and actually outdoors in San Francisco in, 1935? 35. And it was a Perry Mason film.
Probably late 34, I would
guess. The Case of the Curious Bride?
Yeah, it was a Perry Mason film.
Yeah, and it's, with Warren William. Good film. Anyway.
Margaret Lindsay.
So much for the room with Shecky right there. It's almost just the size of it. Well, Shecky's taking me to where he picked me up, and then I go grab the train and go back to Manhattan.
That was the train ride out today.
Which takes me about 2 hours.
Was that bad?
No, it's not that bad, but it seems like it. Anyway, thanks for everything, Shecky.
As always, great sushi and great friend.
Great sushi, great friend, and we'll do it again sometime soon. Thank you.
Maybe Marjorie will come with us.
Yes. She wants to.
I know.
She wants to know why we haven't taken her for sushi. I said, because we only went once since we last took her to sushi.
I know.
Anyway, see you later.
Okay, Ben, get home safe.
Bye-bye. And that's it for our trip to Queens and Jamaica Estates and Shecky Land. And I hope you enjoyed our little trip. I'm trying to get to the front of the train. Because the front of the train is where I need to be to get off at Rockefeller Center. Gee, I couldn't run like that before. Here we go. Actually, if I take a seat right here, well, there we go. And we're on our way back to the city. I got on the wrong train. Yeah. The other one took off first. Oh well. Well, there goes the D train, but I can't take the D train because it doesn't stop at 116th Street. I have to take the B train, which should be coming along soon. Here comes the B now. It's got to be the B train because that was just the D train and they're never that close together. What do you know? It's another D. This bullshit. Yay! It's a B train. Nobody, of course, will give an old man their seat. One more stop, and we're back home, right where we started at 116th Street. Here we go. One block and we're home. And we are home. Hope you enjoyed the trip out to Queens.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And here we are again. Thank you, and thanks to Shecky for hosting us out in lovely Queens, New York. That's Jamaica. And yes, we went to Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Anyway, it's amazing. I shot that thing, and then I simply plug the camera in, and it automatically takes the video and puts it onto my computer. And then it takes all those files and puts it into a program that I use to edit it with called Final Cut Pro, and I edited that thing very fast. Now, in the old days, if I were to do something like that, I would have to, in the early days of videotape, we used to have reel-to-reel machines, and you used to have 2 reel-to-reel machines, and then you would back them up 7 seconds, and then you would start them both at the same time, and then you would have to push a button at the time that you wanted to edit. That's how, and it took me 5-6 hours to that thing you just saw. Probably would have taken me a full day of editing. Okay, here it took maybe, I'd say it took an hour and a half tops. And that was only because I was making a lot of decisions back and forth and so on and so forth. It took me more time to actually make a file out of the video than to do it. So it really, the whole process has gotten just absolutely terrific, And anyway, let me open up the Skype lines, see if anybody wants to talk to us tonight. I sincerely hope that they do. Charlene, I don't know why you were trying to call, and Richard, I don't know why you were trying to call because our lines weren't open. So I have no idea what you were doing. Anyway, I put on a couple of pounds. I got on the scale today, and I had gained about maybe anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds, which is, nothing much. I lost close to 60, so I'm not griping about it. And Charlene is the first one up here. Hello, Charlene. How are you?
Oh, good. Am I okay? My sound and everything?
Yeah, your sound's fine. You're all okay.
I enjoyed that so much, Alex. That was great.
Oh, well.
I mean, that's an awesome house that he has.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was where he grew up, and he inherited that.
Yeah, that's the home where he. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that was his first home. I've never really asked him, but it was the one he spent the majority of his young life.
And I love how he went past, Trump's little mansion where he grew up, because I saw that PBS Trump Dynasty thing, and they showed it there.
Yeah, the house, of course, is not owned by the Trumps any longer. Who knows?
Right, the value of it has gone up, though.
Well, who
became president? I heard, right?
I have no idea. I would think the value would go down, because I wouldn't want to live in that fucking thing with everybody like me driving by and honking their horn and yelling out the window, "Fuck you" to the house, So.
Alex, I used to live in Queens, in like Ridgewood, and I used to go to the Macy's. I forget what mall now, because I'm getting old. I have a birthday. I can't remember anything anymore. But watch out, because do you know the Boulevard of Death? They used to call it Queens Boulevard.
Yeah.
They should just name it the Boulevard of Death. I'm so worried.
I wonder if was that Queens Boulevard I was on. I think.
Like Rego Park, maybe, or something. I think. You weren't on the Boulevard of Death.
Where I come out of the subway is the entrance to Jamaica Estates.
Because they fly by so fast. Like, Shecky was there, but I saw those cars and how, you could easily get clipped. Yeah. I used to be so afraid I would run across the Boulevard of Death.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to die that way, being clipped by a car.
Right. So anyway, so that was my little trip out to Queens. I hope
it was awesome.
You enjoyed
it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So New York drivers don't have to stop for people in the crosswalk?
Oh, are you kidding? That's a New Jersey thing, Phil. In New Jersey, that's the law. That if you hit a pedestrian, you have to wait for them. But in New York, it's like, what was that game? There was a video game that everyone hated when video games came out, that you wanted to hit the people crossing the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a. It's just,
I shall return.
Huh? Why did you call?
Yeah, right.
Because you opened up the Skype lines, and I was making tea. I want to go get my tea.
Well, go get your tea.
I'm going to get my tea.
He's a teetotaler.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that was my little trip out there. I thought you would enjoy.
And his stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know I collect like pin-up artwork, and I collect Marilyn Monroe things like plates, those Bradford.
Mm-hmm.
I collect all kinds of crazy stuff. And my house is like, well, it's not a museum. He's pretty clean, and but he's got awesome stuff.
Yeah.
That was great.
But I'm glad you all enjoyed it.
It was amazing.
It was like being back in Queens.
Yeah, you were in Jamaica. It's like being in Jamaica when you're in Jamaica, Queens, right?
Yeah.
I used to go there every day to go to high school. I had to go to Jamaica to get on the train.
Shit, I was in the Bahamas last week, and now you're in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Alex, I've done what you did. Remember when you got on the wrong train?
Yeah.
I would always do that. I remember when I first moved to Manhattan, I didn't know where I was going. So I got on the train. I ended up in Chinatown once. And imagine how that was. Nobody spoke English. I was so lost. I'll never forget that. There was nobody to ask, and I didn't know that you could go up to the booth, and ask the person in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so lost. I'll never forget that. I was like wandering around Chinatown. That must have been hours out of my way,
Yeah.
But to me, when I got lost, I would find things by getting lost. You know what I mean? Like wandering. Eventually, somebody would help you if you asked enough people in those days.
Yeah.
I needed a GPS then, right?
Yeah.
In the subway.
Anyway.
You needed a map.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the old subway map. Somebody had to actually tell me there were maps. I didn't even know I was in Manhattan. I used to just call it New York and the city because I was from New Jersey. One guy said to me, "You're really too much." He goes, "You don't know where you are, do you?" And I had to explain it was Manhattan, you know.
Anyway, so that's our little trip out there, you know.
Yeah, it was the camera did really well. It has a bit of a fisheye when you go up to things that are more vertical.
Oh, I can
like
change
the door.
that. I can change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's less of a fisheye. There's even more of a linear. But I chose that for most of this. I changed later on, the last third or so, the last quarter, I used just the wide. And there is one other size that you can do called linear, which isn't wide at all. So,
yeah. And do they have like auxiliary microphones or anything like that?
You can use a microphone, yeah.
Okay, you were using the in-camera one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, no, you put it through, what do they say, where do you put it in? You put it in somewhere. Yeah, you put it in through the USB port. Use a USB mic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so it will take external mics.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know...
Well, not that you needed it, but it would be an
No,
improvement.
the sound actually, compared to the last GoPro I had, the sound is 100% better.
Yeah.
It's really good. It seemed to cover everything, you know, around me. And I put my earphones on to see about the stereo, and it was terrific, you know.
Yeah, it was a little directional. You picked up Shecky a little better than you picked up you because you were behind it, and he was in front of it.
Yeah. But I also like the fact that I could walk with the damn thing pointed at my face while I'm walking, and because of that steady cam thing,
right?
It's like I'm walking along and somebody's holding a camera in front of me. You know?
Yeah,
it's very good. Yes, Charlene.
What night were you and Phil discussing chicken things? And Phil likes this kind of chicken. Was it
last
I was
night.
listening to replay.
Casa Rinda last night.
Oh, it was last night's okay, I listened to that today, and I want to tell you, it was like an awesome chicken discussion that you were having there.
I got a couple.
Popeyes.
I got a couple of Facebook messages from people who were disappointed last night with the program because they thought you were going to be away for 2 weeks.
I know. He told that thing where, how long was he away?
Huh?
He wasn't even away a whole week, right?
Yeah.
Or was he?
I was away 11 days, and I think the day, 12 days if you count the night before, because I was packing and doing stuff, so I didn't do the show.
Yeah.
He wasn't performing, right?
Yeah, so 12 days is the equivalent of
Tell me about it. I want to write Shecky and thank him for his thing.
He's got a great house. I love that house.
Yeah.
I love that it's a 2-car garage. That's an awesome house for someone from New York to be living in. You know.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot of money, I think. Yeah. My friend lives in Forest Hills. She's a lawyer, and she bought a house. You know where the Arthur Ashe Stadium is and all that stuff there, in Kew Gardens. Her house is probably worth a lot. I know Tony's out there, and he probably has $1 million house where he is, that his mother owns or whatever.
Yeah.
I lived in Sunnyside, Queens until I was 2.
I've heard of Sunnyside, yeah. I don't know if I've ever been there.
From 54 to 56, I was a Queens resident.
You were in Queens when Trump was in Queens, maybe, right? Or was he out?
Nah, he's older than me.
Yeah, they threw him out.
Probably. Yeah, it might have been. He
in
70
military
something?
School or something. They had thrown him out, right? And he never went back again, I guess, right?
You know, my parents deliberated sending me to military school, Peekskill Military Academy, but they said they didn't want to break my spirit.
Yeah.
I probably would have been better off.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trump's 73. I think he's 4 years older than I am.
All right. So he's 8 years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, Phil, what high school did you go to?
I went to Lakeland High School, which was in, not Mapac, what the hell? Lake Mohegan, which is up in Westchester.
Yeah.
Like the
And-
last of the Mohicans. Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
Mohican.
Well,
Not
the Mohegan Indians, I guess, were from that area, and
They still own the place.
Maybe
Yeah.
wrong, Phil.
and the
maybe
casinos.
That's right.
wrong. Somebody has to Google because, Phil, it could be wrong, right? Information.
What's that?
I don't know. You don't know how to pronounce anything, Phil.
Lake
You're like
Mohegan?
Norm Crosby, I think Rob said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But,
Oh,
Well, you're making fun of my disability?
What?
The American with Disabilities Act. You can't make fun of me.
what do you mean? What's your disability?
I can't pronounce anything.
Oh, well, that's
Like nuclear.
It's a
or-
communication disability.
no. You know what it is? It's laziness. It really is. It's pure utter laziness. And Marjorie somewhat has the same problem, and I get really bothered by it because she'll sometimes use the wrong word for something, and that drives me crazy. And I know that I drive people crazy with that as well. Like, for instance, I'm thinking of writing to Hallie Jackson over at MSNBC because I am sick and tired of her referring to her newscast as a show. It's
It
not a
probably is.
show. It's not a show. Where are the acrobats and the magicians? Okay. If you at the
Like
very
a
at the
television
very
show, right,
least,
with the
it's a
acrobats.
program.
Really good shoe.
And in most cases, she should call it a cast. And I think by calling it a show, she diminishes the credibility of the kind of thing she's doing. And
She's just telling the truth. The diminished credibility.
yeah. I mean, I think they diminish their credibility. But I'm a nut about words. I mean, that they be pronounced correctly. Like once every year, I go crazy for a whole month because I hear all these people on television saying, "So in February."
February, right? Yeah.
It's February.
In KGO, they used to have this guy that would have discussions in the morning with the disc jockey about words and pronunciation and people that used certain words incorrectly, and it was interesting. But I don't think the guy's around anymore.
February, folks.
Alex,
if you look
when
at
I
it,
when I was in school,
no, that's how it's
I-
written. That's how it's written. February.
But they don't have, what's that called? When I was a kid, we had to break up sentences: noun, verb, predicate, and syllabic, and then we also had phonics, and they don't teach anything like that.
Well,
I think
I was taught using phonics.
and phonetically, February makes sense.
No. I was taught in the look-see method, which was fucked.
Oh,
which was completely
right. My son
fucked.
got taught like that. When he
Yeah,
was in
well, I had
school.
to when I went into radio.
Sight, they call it sight reading.
When I went into radio, I had to teach myself how to read
phonetics.
all over again because the look-see method was not accurate because some words look like other words. And,
That's what they teach now.
And so I had to teach myself to go back and relearn how to read phonetically so that I could look at a long word and pretty well figure out how you pronounced it rather than looking at it and saying, well, does that look like cemetery? I mean, it was horrible. And they fucked up. They fucked up a whole generation of kids because they went back and forth between phonics were very big, back in the turn of the century, and then they went to the look-see method, fucked up a whole generation of kids, and then went back to the phonics method again.
That's the American school system, right?
Yeah.
Just
and that's
like
why we're throwing all this money at it.
That's like when Bush's wife.
You always have
had
to
that
turn
No
it into
Child
a
Left
political
Behind.
discussion, don't you, Phil?
That's yes.
No, Bush left everybody's children behind. When
Yep.
his wife got in there.
Yeah.
She
Actually,
screwed up the whole school
I
system.
used to date a gal that worked for Honig. This guy Honig was the head of the California school system, and then he went into a private consulting firm, and her job was to deal with all of these school systems on that No Child Left Behind. See, what they did was they took money or grants And they said that they would meet certain standards. And when they didn't meet those standards, they hired Honig's company, and Teresa would go all over the country talking to the superintendents of the schools, telling them what they needed to do in order to correct their path and not lose their ability to manage the school. Because if they didn't meet it at a certain point, the state would take the school over, and these guys were out of a job. So they were spending buku money on Teresa and Honig's company that they would,
well, that was
be told what they needed to do.
That whole thing was under Bush, wasn't it?
Where
they had
No
to
Child
meet-
Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind was a terrible thing for the schools.
Right, but that was under George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they were still left with having to justify and get the grades to the point where they wouldn't lose their jobs.
Yes,
even
but you see,
after
here
Bush
was
during the Obama administration.
Here was the problem with that whole thing. Okay, if you were a teacher in, say, a school in Jamaica Estates,
right,
you wouldn't have that problem because you got a bunch of students who are, parents are forcing them to learn and get good grades and things. Well, let me finish and get good grades and so on. But then there are people who used to be teaching in places like the worst part of Richmond, California,
San Rafael.
Yeah, who were doing only the best they could in educating these kids. And yet they would not meet up with the standards that the Bush administration had set for them, and it was unfair.
But it didn't matter if they didn't meet the standards. What mattered is if they took the money and didn't meet the standards. So, for instance, when
they need the money in order to keep the school open.
Well, they agreed to do a certain thing.
They didn't
and
agree to do anything.
They had to answer
they didn't
to the
agree
piper.
to do anything. They were told what they were going to do.
No,
they were told
they had to apply for this grant.
Believe me, the holding back of money from schools for not meeting certain objectives during the No Child Left Behind era, it had nothing to do with them agreeing or disagreeing. It was just the way it was, and they didn't get the money from the federal government for their schools if they didn't meet up to a certain standard. Well, you're going
yes.
no. You're going no, Jeff. You agree with me, or?
Well, I'm very familiar, at least what happens today in some of the towns in Connecticut where what's called in the poorest area, where the kids are not very well educated.
And nobody cares.
No, I wouldn't say nobody cares, because a lot of people, including my wife, she teaches for free 1 day a week.
That's great.
With like one-on-one with kids.
That's
to
great.
try to help them to learn, but it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, and,
but I mean, we're living in a time where we don't really care about teaching kids, and we really don't care about taking care of old people, and we're losing our soul as a country. I think that's what I grieve the most. I know that as an older American, I am out here. I'm on my own. I'm sorry. I'm on my own. And of course, your dear president is thinking of slashing the money for Medicare.
Yes. $800 billion.
Yeah. So how are people going to pay for their medical treatment? Because when they're that old, they're living on a fixed income, and extraordinary medical costs will be nothing but a bane to them, and it will wind up killing people. In other words, your president wants to kill me.
Okay? Oh, yes, but he's putting cat food on sale.
Yeah. That's very funny, Phil. I mean, the fact is he's doing something which is literally going to kill people. If he can pass it, I don't think he's going to get it passed, because Congress and the Senate are not going to pass a cut in Medicare. I'm sorry. Even the most staunch Republicans are probably going, well, Medicare is grandfathered in, and we just got to stick with it and live with it.
Said he wasn't going to do that. So
Well,
why
I know, because
all of a sudden?
because he's a lying fuck, and you kept saying he lives up to his promises, but apparently he doesn't.
Nope.
Well, we'll see.
What do you mean we'll see? We already know he's going to slash Medicare. That's what he wants to do. So he's going against what he said when he was running for office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
get
see
to
all
do
of those things on
something
Facebook, and
You'll
go ahead,
figure it
Scott.
out, Phil.
Huh?
Yeah.
What did you say, Jeff?
When Phil gets to be 73, he'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Charlie.
He also promised that the Wall Street and rich people were not going to be happy with his tax plan. And how many of them are unhappy with his tax cuts from last time?
I saw this thing where it said that these companies, and Apple was one of them, donated money to the Republican Party or the GOP. And Apple had donated the least, which was about $500,000.
Most companies, Phil. Most companies.
But they
most
claim
companies,
that they got a $47 million benefit out of the tax cut. And the companies that actually contributed the most got the least amount of tax benefit.
Well, Phil, I don't know whether that's true or not, or whether that's just coincidence. The fact of the matter is, however, that most companies, Apple, I'm sure that Apple's management is probably Democratic, okay?
Yeah.
And liberal. But these companies always give a certain amount of money to each party.
But it was the comparison between what was given and what their tax savings were over the due to the tax cut, and it was.
Well, the fact is, you didn't answer Charlie's comment that he said he was not going to. The rich were not going to be happy with his tax cut, and I got to tell you, if I were rich, I'd be very happy with his tax cut.
Well,
there's another lie. There's another lie, Phil.
It's a form of trickle-down economics, which I agree with.
Yeah, but we've already proved under the Reagan administration it doesn't work.
It wasn't given enough time.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh God, you got an excuse for everything. It didn't work, Phil. It was considered. It was considered voodoo economics. I think they referred to.
Only by George H.W. Bush. And that was George H.W. Bush when he was running against Reagan for president, called Reagan's deal voodoo economics.
Yeah, he was right.
He was right.
Hey, my birthday is coming up in June, and that means that I have to apply for Medicare.
Well, don't get it.
Yep.
Don't get it, Phil. You don't deserve it.
I tell you what, you can pay me back all I put into it.
You said you hate this kind of stuff, so I
didn't say I hated this kind of stuff.
Yes, you did.
It's something that you pay for. I'm entitled to.
I think anybody who is a Republican and thinks that these what they call entitlement programs are bad.
Entitlement programs is Velveeta cheese and other shit that they give to people instead of real food.
It's funny, but they somehow when they said entitlement programs, they were, if I remember correctly, referring to Medicare, Medicaid.
I think they were referring to welfare.
Oh, they were at Social Security. No, they were. They were
in
referring
your mind,
to
that's what they were referring to.
No, they were
referring to welfare.
Guys, what were they referring to?
No, they're trying to equate Social Security and Medicare with welfare, and that's why they kept calling those things entitlements too, to make you think that we were, taking things that we weren't entitled to.
Well, okay, this is your opportunity to teach me something. What do I have to do to apply for Medicare?
Well, first you have to become a Democrat, and then hello, Richard.
Just go to Medicare.gov.
You have to become a Democrat.
Oh, okay.
And it's a terrible idea, Phil, as you said. It's a horrible thing, and you really shouldn't be on the government's dole. Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you really have a choice. I think you get punished if you don't.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, Mr. Republican here is saying, so how do I get Medicare? When do I get it? Huh? How soon can I apply for it?
Yeah.
How old are you now, Phil?
64.
64. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Don't do
You
it.
do it online.
You can, you can do it 65. I think it's Social Security that's gone up to like 66 or something like that. 66 and a
I
half.
can qualify at 66 and a half for full Social Security. And
they should be lowering that age rather than raising it, because you try and find somebody who can find a job at 60.
Well, they lowered it to it's 62, but then you only get you don't get it all.
I did that.
And the problem is
I did
with
that, and I'm living long enough that I'm glad I didn't take it at 65. Right. Am I right, Jeff?
Yeah,
absolutely.
For you.
Because
the longer you wait,
you get locked in.
The more you get.
Let's say you're 62. Let's say you're 62. And you decide you're going to wait till you're 66 and a half, and you die at 65. You've been fucked.
Yes,
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
But the other problem is, let's say I take it at 62 and I make more money than they allow you to make, you're not going to get anything.
Oh, no, you get.
So
no,
why should I take it?
Believe it or not, Phil, if you're working, and I was working for quite a bit of my period over 62 when I first started taking it, you keep getting your money raised because you're making more money.
That's true, but the benefit is reduced based on your income.
Yeah,
so,
if you make too much, they take part of the Social Security away from you.
And in my case, they would have taken it all.
They never took anything away from me. And I
weren't making any money then.
I was making the serious $112,000 a year.
Okay,
no, you weren't on Social Security.
No, I was.
Yeah. So did they?
Oh, yeah, you were over 70 though, right?
For every dollar you make over $16,000, that's for only $2 you make. They take away $1. So I make around what you were making at Sirius. So therefore, I would get 0.
Yeah. When you turn 70, you can make all the money in the world. They don't lower your.
I thought 66 and a half.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why Alex didn't have it taken away from him.
Well, but I was
getting paid at 62.
I started working at Sirius when I was 64. Okay. Yeah. And I was already getting Social Security, and the check never went down.
Really?
What I'm saying is that my Social Security check
doesn't
go down, but I have to pay taxes on my Social Security. I pay federal income taxes on my Social Security because I make more than $16,000 a year.
Well, now it's I think 25 is the amount.
I don't. Well,
but what you're talking about, yes. I mean, I did have to pay money on my Social Security because I made over a certain amount.
Over the 16,000.
Over the 16,000. But I was getting paid. My Social Security check comes to almost $24,000 a year.
Yeah.
So, and that's after the Medicaid care is taken out. I get about 19,000.
It's time for you to go see your accountant.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
You go see your accountant.
I say just don't take it. It's bogus, Phil. It's wrong. It's being on the take from the government. You should not do it.
I'm going to take it so that you can't have it.
Hey, I'm getting it anyway.
Everything I take, the Democrats can't spend. Just remember that. On entitlements.
It's not the Democrats that are spending. It's
what's in it for me? With them.
Cuts for the rich.
Well,
what's in it for me?
Between Marjorie and I, we'd have about $4,000 a month coming in from that, another $1,000 from my after pension, and we could survive, And then of course I've got all the money that I've saved up over the years, the massive amount of money that is being dribbled away as we speak.
That's because you keep buying GoPros.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay, I got that Medicare.gov up, and the first thing it wanted me to do was put in my email address, and it sounded like an ad, and then I'd get bombarded by every...
you got to get bombarded anyway.
Is it a phony Medicare site?
No, this is official U.S. government site.
Yeah.
For Medicare.
They have phony sites for some of that, though.
Not Medicare.gov.
Well, like when you go, like, apply for college, when my son was doing that, you have to watch out.
Well, they got these porn sites that come up for the Medicare, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to cause the person to have a heart attack before they qualify so they can keep it in their coffers and give it to Democrats.
Oh, man. Well, let me see. Hold on a second.
I know I'm going to do Kaiser. Maybe I just ought to call them and ask them. They sent me something in the mail if I filled it out, but I don't know if I have to do something with the Social Security Administration.
Isn't that supposed to be crappy insurance, Phil?
What?
The Kaiser? I've heard you guys talk about that a lot. It's not crappy?
No, I like Kaiser. You have to learn how to navigate the system. But I've got a good guy now. He's pretty proactive, and I have some outside people that help me. And they say, "Oh, tell them you want this test and that test," and they do them. It's all under one roof.
Now, when you go to Medicare is then primary, right?
It's his prime. It will be his. Well, wait a minute. How many people work at your operation, Phil?
I have 6 W-2 employees and then a bunch of 1099 people. So
yeah, but I mean, how many full-time employees? Less than 10, right?
Right.
Right. So then Medicare would be your primary.
Yeah. The way that Kaiser handles it is they take it. And so you just still go through Kaiser and you pay this $100 or something
as a secondary
for the secondary at Kaiser, and
then you still have the 20% that isn't covered, right?
No,
that takes care of the.
Right.
Not everything is covered. I mean, you're covered up to a point, but there is a what do you call it?
Limit.
Copay. On almost everything. I mean, that's what's so fun.
No, that's not the way mine works.
Really?
No.
It's 100%. I haven't paid a dime for medical insurance since I turned 65, and I've had 4 operations.
What? You have Kaiser?
Yeah, but what?
No, I have Humana.
Yeah, but what? How did you?
100% of everything.
Yeah, but are you on some kind of plan for where you worked at one time?
Yes. Yeah. The state is picking up the 20%.
Oh, okay. So you're very fortunate. You're very fortunate, but still, I mean, I pay. Every time I go to see this guy who sticks his fist up my ass.
Proctologist.
He charges me about $49 or something as a copay. But most of my doctors, it's either nothing or it's very, very minor.
Well, hey, what about Richard in Norway? What do you do? I know that they've got health coverage and you pay dearly for it, but how do they handle it there? And is there a 65-year-old range for other stuff, or what do they do?
No, it's pretty much free all the way.
It covers everybody, cradle to grave.
More or less.
But you pay 70% in income tax, right?
No, they don't pay that.
No.
How much you pay in income tax? What is the income tax like there?
I'm not quite sure, but it's not 70. What did you say, Phil?
70. Yeah,
70. Oh no, I'm not sure, but it's way less than that.
Mm-hmm. So you're wrong again, Phil. Everybody have a drink.
Well, do you have a VAT tax and other things on top of income?
Well, we if you talk about Medicare, we have every citizen has a right to have a doctor, a regular doctor.
Yeah.
And we pay for up to like $200 or $150. For if you go to see the doctor and we go.
Oh, so you have to pay $150 copay.
No, wait a minute. Is that a copay? Is that per year?
Yeah, per year. You build it up, you know. You build it up
like
to
a deductible.
the roof.
Like a deductible.
Yeah, but it's like $200 maximum for the year.
Yeah,
right?
maximum, and that includes, you know, going to the doctor, getting medication at the pharmacy, all that stuff. And after that, it's free. You get a card after that.
Well, we have Obamacare here, and
I know.
some of the copays are $25,000. So you know,
well, Phil,
whatever
the only reason why
Obamacare,
the only reason why Obamacare is not particularly great is because he had to concede to the Republicans to get it passed. Oh. And so this was kind of
the reason that medical is fucked up in this country is that we don't have a system that's either single payer, or we don't have a system that's truly free market. It's neither. It's in the middle, and it won't work.
What do you mean?
Because if it was single payer, it's one thing.
I'll prove to you. Free market. I'll prove to you it's free market, guys. How many doctors do you know that have yachts?
Yep.
Not many.
Oh, I know a lot.
I know a bunch of doctors.
No, only the dentists. Dentists have yachts.
What?
Yeah, dentists.
Yeah.
And
they're the ones with the yachts.
Yes.
I'm curious, it's from Phil, as now that you don't like the system, what would you do to change it?
Well, I believe in a free market system.
Well, what the hell does that mean?
Oh, I'll tell you what it means.
What the hell is that?
It's a market where you can shop around, where prices are transparent, where there's competition, where
what did you say? What did you say? What are competitive? What did you say are competitive?
The prices.
Oh, wait a minute, Phil. Bing, bing, bing.
Phil,
bing, bing, bing. And you can't compare it to a single payer because there are no prices.
Yeah, and it's a boondoggle. When you have single payer and there are no prices, it's like going to the buffet. Everybody eats and leaves a bunch of shit on their plate.
Mm-hmm. And look at
that will fail.
Okay. Look at our friend Richard here.
Medicare's been around for 60 years.
Richard, it doesn't look like he's dying from bad health care.
I
said, wait a minute, hold on a second. Wait a minute, I'm answering a question for him, Phil. I said, you don't look like you're dying from bad health care.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
And my friend Ted Randall said, and quite rightly so, that if he had been in the United States during the last 20 years, he'd be dead by now.
He would be dead by now, yeah. How old was he, Ted Randall? 92 or something?
92, yeah.
And he said, I've had problems. He says, if I didn't live in Canada, I'd be dead by now.
I got a friend in Norway that's 91, and he's still going on trips with his bicycle and tent.
Yeah.
And sleeps
That's
over.
Because he can't afford a car. Because he's paying
people
so
in
much.
Norway live about 3 years longer than people in the U.S.
If Phil, you have this idea that in some of these countries they're paying enormous taxes, 70%, and it's not true. You can't find a country that charges 70% in taxes. Okay,
all right,
plain and simple. Yeah, you're going to look it up. Yeah, go to michaelsavage.com. Anyway, the fact is that even if they paid, say, 40%, they're getting their money's worth, Phil. We're not getting our money's worth. I'm paying. Yeah, but I pay a great amount of taxes.
I get choice
every year.
And I get a choice whether I want to pay that or not pay it.
Oh well,
choice about getting your medication or eating food that month.
Yeah. Phil, it's amazing. Yes, Richard.
I hate to change the subject, but here in Oslo, Hillary Clinton was in Oslo a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
No. We don't pay attention to her anymore.
Trying to avoid arrest.
Okay. As she had a speech, she was interviewed on stage in public in front of an audience.
Yeah.
The effective tax rate in Oslo is 44%.
Yeah, that's not bad. Look what he's getting for his 44%, Phil.
That's not 70. So.
And he's not going to go bankrupt because he got sick.
No, not at all.
No, he's just going to freeze.
Not
Phil never says
Norwegians are happier than Americans.
Phil, rather than say
sure they are.
Phil, rather than say that somebody might be right, just tells what he perceives to be a joke.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Let me read this. Most important taxes are VAT, income tax. There's a lot more taxes and indirect taxes. In
we have them here too.
Like we don't have that.
Like we don't have that. Phil, they say that we have so much of a tax, blah, 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 and then you go and buy something and you pay 8.5% tax.
Yeah.
So that's actually, if you're taking your money that you make, that you pay taxes on, and then you go out and buy stuff with that money, you're paying another 8.5% in taxes.
Yeah.
You see, you just don't even.
What did I just
say, Phil? What did I just say? What did I just say, Phil? What did I just say?
Yeah, that we pay a sales tax.
It was a little more than that.
Isn't that like a tax-free one of those islands?
No, not that. Not those.
Not that. No, some island there in the Caribbean. No.
There are tax-free havens, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, tax-free. People can put away money and stuff.
Offshore stuff.
Because they don't have to report it.
Yeah, right. A lot of Norwegian billionaires do that.
Cayman Islands are famous.
By the way,
right, Cayman Islands. Yeah, Cayman Islands and Switzerland.
Yeah. There'd be good money in supplying electric power in Venezuela, though. They haven't had.
Everything would be fine if the Americans would just turn the lights on again.
I don't think it's the Americans.
It's not. How are they surviving down there?
How's Maduro surviving is what I want to know. I mean, if I were in that country, I want to go fucking kill the guy.
Because he's paying the army. There's one group of people that he supports that are getting paid, and that's the military.
Yeah.
And he controls the military. And as long as he keeps paying them and feeding them, he's going to be in control.
Yeah, but, they also have grandmothers and grandfathers and parents and so on who are suffering the slings and arrows of Maduro's existence.
They took the guns away.
And so I don't know if he can pay them enough money to make them completely happy.
No.
At least they're not.
By the way, you know what you should do, Tony? Sometime.
Food out of garbage trucks.
I bet. When's the last time you cleaned the lens on your camera?
Me?
No, I'm talking about Tony.
Oh, Tony, yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of blurry.
She's driving me crazy tonight, my mother. Okay. She's going to the bathroom 3 times in an hour.
Tony's camera, that's a filter. It makes it look soft and.
It is okay. Tony. From what I hear the word that you are going to have a new job soon.
Yeah, nobody posts on my Facebook page anything about it because the family don't know. But Alex, I'm going to work through the city, and I'm going to take care of my mom.
He's going to work as a caregiver and get paid by the city, and the person he's taking care of is his mother. I mean, it's legitimate,
Yeah. And Alex, I called them up.
Another entitlement.
And you know what they told me? I said, say if my mother, I don't mean to say she's going to pass away, but let's say the day comes that she's no longer with us. I said, say if I want to continue doing the work. The lady says, all I have to do is take some kind of class at night, and they give you a certificate, and they put it on like your payroll thing so that I can work in other areas around here.
Tony, if she passes away, all you got to do is put her in a closet and keep collecting those checks.
Yeah.
You know what I told her, Alex? I says, Mom, if you die on me, I'll kill you. She may drive me crazy, though, but she's not that bad.
You do a Norman Bates. You do a Norman Bates. You stuff her.
Alex, you know what she told me in work? I can't wait for you to. My mother wants me to quit. I love it.
Tony, do they call it personal preference program? Out here in Jersey, it's personal preference program.
Yeah, you get to pick the person, the family.
Right. Right.
But if I want to work outside the family, they told me I have to take a course.
Right, they do that here.
But nobody posts on my page because my family, who I hate, most of them, not all of them, nobody knows. So I'm going to tell them right now, it looks like it's going to be like June if everything starts moving along. The lawyer's taking care of it. But I just have to copy her.
By the way, I suddenly got a note back here from Shecky. I suddenly realized I've really become an old person because I wrote a note saying I played the tape tonight of our little thing in Queens. And he wrote back, "What tape?"
Yeah.
I'm still calling it tape. You know, there isn't any tape.
There's no tapes.
It's a little. It's about that big. It's about that big that I put it on. 128 gigabytes.
Alex, I still call the DVR the DVD sometimes by accident.
No, you call the DVR the DVD.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I'm really messed up.
Wait,
no,
I call the refrigerator the icebox.
Yeah.
I still dial phone numbers.
Yes, Richard.
Yeah, Richard. Yeah, okay. You can say Joe Hansen if you want, or Joe Yukon or whatever. Did you get to know which movie that Kuala Lumpur building was in?
No.
He says.
Okay, you want to know it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I win another prize? Because I won the prize. You said I was the first one to say Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur.
Well, the check is in the mail, you know.
He said come to New York City and get it, but I don't know what it's going to be.
You got to pick it up.
Yeah, you got to come find me. Anyway, go ahead.
It expires after 90 days.
Yeah.
The movie is called The Entrapment.
Entrapment. Right.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah.
It wasn't Die Hard?
No, it wasn't Die Hard.
It wasn't Die Hard, Phil.
Die Hard in New York, maybe.
No, it was in L.A. Is where.
Yeah, but they had one in New York.
Oh yeah, Die Hard 3 was in New York.
Yeah.
That one with Samuel Jackson was in New York. Yes.
Which one did they say it was like the Petronas building or something?
That was the Petronas. That was the Petronas.
But in Die Hard, maybe it was the company that the German guy owned.
Entrapment, that was the Petronas building.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it was the Petronas building.
Listen, I had
the name of the company.
Don't even talk
in Die Hard.
Don't talk
that the wife worked at.
Wasn't called Petronas.
No, it wasn't Petronas.
No.
What was it?
I don't know, but all I know is I have a bad.
You're supposed to know that stuff.
All I know is I have a bad case of Petronas, and if we keep going on like this, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. Anyway, yes, Charlene's had her hand up. She may lose it if she doesn't get to talk.
No, just forget what it was I was going to say.
Okay.
Now, I hope he doesn't get upset. Our Joe Hansen from Norway, our new, gentleman here from Norway. I love the way he said Kuala Lumpur, I think, because I knew a Norwegian girl once, and instead of saying Chihuahua, she used to say Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
I love that. He's not upset with me, is he?
Yeah.
I love the way he pronounced that, though. It was great. The way he said Kuala Lumpur.
The way I said it?
Yeah, I like that. It sounds great.
How did I say it?
I don't say it because I can't say.
How do you say Kuala Lumpur? Kind of.
I say Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur. Maybe it's a little.
No, it's okay.
There's a little problem forming certain.
Sounds the same to me.
Is there an accent there? Can you hear the accent?
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur.
No, you have no accent at all, Richard. We couldn't detect you were from another country.
I can't detect anything. It's
I'm really
perfect
surprised.
English.
Oh,
Alex, I'm really surprised by that.
Another thing to say. There was a.
By the way, Richard, hold on a second, Charlene. Richard, do I sound like I have an accent?
Yeah, you have a slight New York accent, I think.
Really? Now, could you do an American accent for us?
Could I do an American accent for you?
That's good. That was good.
How was that?
That was
pretty good.
It was okay. It was pretty
twangy,
good.
like twangy, like New York, right?
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
Now, what are you talking about? Here, try this one, and I'll say "fuck you," and you say "fuck me." Fuck you. That.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
That's New York. Yeah, Charlene, you had something you were continuing.
Oh,
or something?
No, you know what? I hate to. Am I changing? But did you hear about the big mob hit in Staten Island?
Yeah.
Since 1985.
Thank God. I mean, it's finally back again. We were missing that kind of action here in New York.
I was so excited.
And the punk hit under the car rather than fire back. Here he is, a big mob boss.
And, he was a big mob boss.
And he crawls under his car, so and the guy finishes him off.
Yeah.
Right.
I really think that's something I have missed about New York, and I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah, since 1985, it hasn't happened.
Because when I lived in New York the first
since
time,
1985.
That was like, on the news every night. What was the killing today, right?
Yeah.
Who was the guy? Who was the one mobster who they killed at Umberto's Clam House?
Yeah, who was that?
And
right?
he still had the cigar in his mouth when he was lying there dead. Do you remember that?
Oh.
Yeah.
But Albert Anastasia, my father did a lot of work for him.
I
And
know
that was the guy that was actually was killed in a barber's chair.
Yeah,
it was a hit, and I think
I'm trying to remember, I think the hotel was.
Like
I think it was the what do you call it? The Waldorf Astoria barbershop.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, that was the Godfather scene?
Hi, Patrick. We're here. We're here talking about mob hits.
Yeah, I heard about it, and big fucking deal.
Well, but you don't understand. As a New Yorker, we're excited about this
That's
because
a big
it's the
thing,
kind of news we've been lacking for a long time.
Right.
You know? I mean, and when I first moved here, every other day there was somebody getting killed on the streets of New York by mobsters, you know?
And
muggers.
You live in Harlem, don't you?
Yeah.
Which part of Harlem do you live in? The part close to Manhattan, the part that they used to call Spanish Harlem?
Actually, Spanish Harlem is right near where I am now.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, when Harlem first existed, it was everything above 125th Street. And then as the years went on, it crept down to where I am, 116th Street. And then when you went below 116th Street and over to the east side, am I right, Jeff? That became Spanish Harlem. That's Spanish Harlem. Yeah.
Okay. I just know that from Willie used to speak. He used to run around in Spanish Harlem as a 13-year-old in 13, 14 in the 70s. Willie DeVille. Growing up and then becoming.
Willie DeVille.
Yeah.
I know who he is. He died. Yeah.
Yeah, he died in 2009.
Yeah.
Pancreatic cancer.
Oh, really?
Yes, Patrick.
Tony, did you have a good time and then wipe it off and not wipe everything?
Well, what happened?
Your camera kind of looked like you did something and you tried to wipe it off.
Let's try this. Let's try this.
Ice fog,
Wait a minute. Let's try this. Tony, go get a tissue.
Not you, Tony.
Tony, go get a tissue and wet it, and then come back.
You put Vaseline on the lens, right?
That was my foot. Mom, go to bed, will you?
What?
What happened? She's yelling from the. I put my mother's cream on her shoulder because she itches. Maybe I got some on my hands. She's driving me crazy. I hope I don't get fired out.
Have you got a bathroom? Wait a minute. Hold on a
She's yelling. Are you all right? I have to
on a
stub my toe.
Wait a minute. Are you near a bathroom?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
I used to have the Ramble
Go to the bathroom, get some tissue paper, wet it. Then take another piece of tissue paper that's dry and come back, and we'll tell you what to do. Because this is driving me crazy. It's getting to look like I'm watching, a Lucille Ball show
I think
from
it's
the
a reaction
70s.
from the camera to the wallpaper.
What?
Yeah. Right. That's funky.
For all we know, if he cleans the lens, that may not be the wallpaper.
Hey, he thinks that he hates folding hat boxes. Wait till he has to wait on his mother 24/7.
Yeah.
We're gonna, he doesn't know what he's in for.
He's going to beg to go back
all
to
day.
Hat City. Okay, so now you got the wet tissue.
Wet and dry.
Okay, take the wet one. See
the
where
cops are coming down the block. They're probably going to kill some.
See where the camera is, where the camera lens is, right there. Just wash that. You clean it off. Just look at that!
Oh my God!
God damn it!
Can you imagine the rest of the house?
Now take the other one.
The Irish lady cleans everything.
Take the other one and dry it. There you go. Tony,
that's because you're ruining your camera.
Okay, look at that, folks. Am I right? It was a dirty lens.
Beautiful,
I gotta get out.
God, you are fucking ugly.
Use a condom
my
next
mother
time.
for that, Alex. See, Ma, I got no looks.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. By the way, the teeth are looking good. The teeth are looking good.
I know, actually. Just the ones up here, but I don't even care about the ones on top anymore.
We do.
I'm only down $350, and then I'm done paying.
Oh, wow.
Really?
How much longer are they going to keep sticking those things on you?
I don't know, but at this point, I don't even care. I'm paid in full pretty much, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't you want the value for what you paid for?
I figure I'm getting my money's worth because I'm over the extent, the 2 years. I got him in almost 3.5, 4 years now.
Well,
I have a record set.
But nobody remembers what your teeth look like. Oh, you had no tooth going in the same direction.
Exactly. They were bad news.
Yeah.
They were bad
and
news.
Shecky convinced you.
He did.
To go get them done. Because
and my sister was so happy I did.
It wasn't for you, it was for us. We couldn't stand looking at your mouth.
I don't blame
you.
What
was it, veneers or Invisalign?
And you know what? Invisalign. And I'll tell you the truth, I feel a lot better, even though I was never really that conscious of it, but I do feel better. I like that they're straight.
Well, you open your mouth more when you talk and you smile. Yeah.
It was easier to chew and brush.
Yeah. What about dental in Norway?
Oh, yeah.
You get that for free too?
Expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually prefer to pull them out.
Yeah.
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 Well, if they're in the back, nobody's going to notice that, No,
not here. But I don't want to do it in my front teeth. But it's pretty expensive.
Well, I've had a loose tooth here for the longest time, and one of these days it's going to have to go. And she says, we can do an implant. And I went, nah, it's so far back. I mean, come on. I want to know I'm going to live as long as the implant. Okay.
Can you if you get a root canal or like that kind of thing, can you pay and then get something back from?
I have with my
I
can't
with my
you can. Joe?
Well, with my medical plan at SAG-AFTRA, I get $2,500 a year for dental.
Okay.
But you got to spend another $2,500 on top of that.
No, you don't necessarily. It depends on the thing. Some things they pay 80%.
Oh, Norway, you can get actually. I know the dentist said to me that I really don't want to pull out teeth, this or this, because you can go to the and get something. I don't know how much, but you can get something covered.
Yeah,
I don't know how much you can get covered.
One of the guys on the trip, his wife is a dental something, and she was going into a business. Yeah, no, she wasn't a dentist, but what she was doing was developing something that you wear in your mouth to stop sleep apnea. Because what they're saying is
it's called a dick, Phil. It's called a dick.
Well, no. what they're saying is that by pulling out teeth, how we take out our wisdom teeth and things like that, that it changes the position of the jaw and causes sleep apnea. So
what about grinding? It causes
the grinding. I'm actually getting something on Monday. I'm going to pick it up. It's a thing that looks like the Invisalign. And it just fits over your.
A night guard.
Yeah, I'm getting. I took the impressions a couple weeks ago.
Marjorie does a night guard every night when she goes to sleep, and as I kiss her goodnight, I feel like I'm kissing Rocky just before he's going into the ring.
Yeah, well, not only do I have the guard, I have the CPAP mask. I'm a real winner.
You go first, Charlene.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm changing the subject, but you said something about Rocky. George Foreman died, I think, right?
What?
Did he? No.
Did he?
I saw it. I hope it wasn't a.
Oh my God!
That's a major loss. If he died.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no more Foreman grills, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just thought of that when you said that.
Come on, come here.
Hey, the thing about George Foreman is all his kids are named George.
Yeah,
everyone.
So it may have been one of them. Let's see.
Did he have many kids or have many kids?
I think
like
8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
7 or 8.
George Foreman's daughter died.
Really?
Oh, maybe it was that it. I'm sorry. I should have Snopes.
Well, small mistake, Charlene.
Sorry.
Yeah, nobody takes a drink for that.
Yeah. George Foreman's daughter. Yeah. Yeah, they've been talking.
Okay, that's what it was. Oh, God. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for setting me straight. Because I would have thought he was passed away, and I was upset.
Yeah. But
he's a nice guy.
I would be too if I heard it. Yeah. No.
I feel sorry for George Foreman. Yeah.
Why?
I just want.
like him.
Can I ask for Charles?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You said you had 3 operations, right?
Actually, I've had 4 since I turned 65. Yeah.
Did they do the prefrontal lobotomy
and
first?
you always 65 actually.
Yeah, I'm 69.
Oh, that
Charlie.
I would never.
I don't know what it is about black people, but they don't age quite as badly as white people do.
Really?
Yeah.
Plain living.
But you got you had something. You got diabetes or something?
Yeah, I've had 3 operations for toe amputations.
Oh,
you had 3 toes?
You used to be a baseball player.
Wait a minute. You had 3.
I was a softball player for 45 years, and then I was umpire for 31 years.
So you retired now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't there a 49er kicker that had?
I used to be a soccer player, and.
So I suppose, Charles, when you go out to dinner with people, you don't foot the bill?
Could have been worse.
Actually, the person that kicked the first 63-yard field goal had the front part of his foot.
Right, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Patrick's got his hand
up. Richard,
I
have to say, your memory is better than the rest of us all put together collectively.
He's only 29 years old.
Yeah, 25,
25, yeah.
Yeah, the rest.
Norwegian years.
Yes, Norwegian. Social democratic, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
They go by slowly.
Yeah, of course. Being socialist in Norway means you're a communist, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's vast word. You can put different types into that word. You can put socialist, you can say if you're a lefty, you can be a socialist, a communist. You know, you can
an
be
arsonist,
and either one of them.
Yeah,
it's not really. Yeah.
Was Norway controlled by the USSR as a satellite?
No.
Never. No. So which countries in that region were Soviet satellites?
None of them. You have to go to the closest to us. If you go over to Finland and then the Baltic countries,
like Estonia and places.
Estonia
like
and
Lithuania,
so Finland wasn't
and then
sort of
Eastern Europe as well.
Finland wasn't controlled by the
Soviets.
No.
Where did you ever get that idea?
Well, you know, they had the Eastern Bloc, and I understood that Finland. I think Finland had a lot of influence from the
Finland
Soviets.
was never controlled by them, but they had a little influence. I mean, they have a connection with
a relationship,
and they have like that, but it was never controlled by it. No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a satellite.
It's a Nordic country.
This is Phil's way of thinking about things. That if you don't live in the United States, you're in a poor country. Okay.
No, it's not a poor country. It's just shithole country.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah, Trump said so, and he's my president.
Norway?
Not
Yeah.
Norway. He
Patrick?
said that people from shithole countries are trying to come into the States.
The head of NATO is Norwegian. Did you know that?
Yeah.
NATO's not doing too good. They don't pay their bills.
No, but the former prime minister is the head of NATO. And
okay, Patrick has his hand up. Yes, Patrick.
Yeah. Okay.
Just watching the news, and apparently there was 2 mosques that had mass shootings in New Zealand.
Wow.
Mosque.
Wow. Do they allow guns in New Zealand?
Oh, that's the thing I was going to bring up. Is everybody yaps about gun control, and here we are in New Zealand where they're supposedly banned, and 2 mass shootings at 2 mosques.
Yeah, they're banned in Chicago
New Zealand was conservative.
I think they allow guns in New Zealand because
it's Australia that doesn't allow guns.
Right. New Zealand allows guns.
Yeah. Okay, thought both countries did.
Another shithole country.
Australia banned them
Australia's the one that banned
few
guns.
years
It
back.
hadn't had a mass shooting since 1996.
Just they're all drunk.
Wasn't there a Lindor chocolate place or something that was so bad that that Australia decided no guns, that's it, fuck it, and nobody complained. Everybody agreed, not a bad idea.
It was giving them all diabetes. You know, they go into it was a Lindor chocolate store, and they thought that the flag that they put up was an ISIS flag. I don't think it was, but they the people who had taken over the store and had lodged the attack had that black flag, and the news media said that it was ISIS.
Yeah. What? Oh, wait a minute. I had a couple items here. Let me reach over here. Why don't I ever just get this before the show so I don't have to lean over? Let me see here. That's a blank page. That's not a blank page. Oh, okay. Let's talk for a moment about the college bribery scandal.
Oh, yeah.
That's going on.
The only way I would have gotten in.
Well, no, because you didn't have the money to do it.
No, that's why I didn't get in.
Yeah, you know. But you know, in a way, I feel a little sorry for Felicity Huffman because all she spent was $15,000, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, Lori Loughlin and her husband spent $500,000 to get this moron kid of theirs into college.
That's funny.
And then she goes out there. She goes out there, and she's very famous for doing her Facebook posts or videos. And one of them. She says, "Here I am at college. Boy, it's going to be fun. All the parties and all the good times. I really don't care about studying. Otherwise, I would have never come here." And wait a minute. And that was the mentality of this spoiled little piece of shit. Well. She somehow, because of her Facebook presence and so on, had a deal with Sapporo, the makeup people, and
Sephora.
Sapporo. So if you want to hear about the fallout on this thing, first of all, Lori Loughlin lost her job with Hallmark Cards Incorporated, doing Hallmark movies, which is of course
$1 million in bail.
I know, you know all that.
Really?
Yeah, it's $100,000 in cash.
So you don't get it back if you put up the $100,000,
That's
but
right.
you get it back if you put up the $1 million.
Yeah. So anyway, but they had the $1 million. So, but anyway, their home alone is worth $35 million. So they took a lien against that, got the cash. Anyway, Hallmark Cards Incorporated. And the company Crown Media Family Networks Group, which includes the Hallmark Channel, have released a statement saying the company has stopped development on all productions involving Lori Loughlin. Wow. Now, not only is that a blow to her bank book, but that's a blow to her acting career.
It's over.
I don't know if you've ever seen those Hallmark movies, but a fucking paramecium could play a part on a Hallmark movie.
You know, she's got a future selling hits of the 70s on late night TV.
Yeah. Anyway, we are saddened by the recent news surrounding the college admissions allegations. The Hallmark statement says, "We're no longer working with Lori Loughlin and have stopped development of all productions with her." Now, here's the thing. Of course, she hasn't been found guilty of anything yet. So is it right of them to suddenly drop her just simply because she's been alleged? You know, it's being a little too on the safe side. The company initially took a wait-and-see approach after a federal investigation involving more than 30 parents, and they say there are like 80 more or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, Loughlin's career and the Hallmark Channel were deeply intertwined. She's been among the so-called Christmas queens who top-light a slate of popular holiday movies.
Yep.
And has also starred in the ongoing garage sale mystery movies and the series When Calls the Heart. Loughlin's daughter, now this is what happened with the daughter, Olivia Jade, has also suffered a setback in the immediate backlash. TMZ quotes a honcho at Sephora, where she was a spokeswoman or a spokesgirl. I mean, come on, she's hardly out of her. She's hardly past having her first period. Quotes a honcho for Sephora as saying, after careful review of recent developments, we've made the decision to end the Sephora collection partnership with Olivia Jade effective immediately. So this family has taken a big financial hit, you know.
Yeah. Now, the husband is a designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's he design?
Clothes.
No.
Clothes. Yeah.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
About clothes designers, Karl Lagerfeld died.
He passed away, right?
Yeah.
He passed away just recently.
God, he was so good with collars. Anyway, what really is I think the biggest hit here is going to be there is one person already suing Stanford University.
Right.
Right, Jeff? You know the story, Jeff.
I'm not so sure that they.
Will you
think
let me
that
finish
Stanford...
it so the audience can hear what it's all about, Phil?
All right.
Before you jump in with your opinion on something they don't know what you're jumping in on. She's suing Stanford University, saying that she paid something like $300,000, $400,000 for her education at Stanford, maybe more, and that her degree is now worth less than it would have been prior to this scandal. So
she might have a case.
Yeah, and they say that a lot of other students are thinking of suing as well on the same basis, saying, you know,
what's a different basis?
Huh?
There's a different basis there. What people are saying is that they didn't get a fair. They paid an application fee, and they expected that they would get a fair a fair deal when applying, and because they didn't get that, there's going to be a lot more students who didn't get accepted.
Yeah, but they're probably just going to be able to recover. They're going to be able to recover that fee probably. But the fact is that this woman is saying, hey, I got myself a Stanford degree. I paid good money to get that Stanford degree, honestly. And now because of the university has been sullied by this, my degree is not worth what it was yesterday, because people will look at it and say, oh, Stanford, oh, well, how did you get your degree?
Yeah.
You know?
Now, Condoleezza Rice, was she the head of Stanford?
No.
Was she the dean?
No.
She had something to do with Stanford.
Maybe, yeah.
Where
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember now. Yes, Patrick.
Oh, sorry.
As far as her degree not being worth anything, she must be a brand new graduate, because in the real fucking world, after you get your first job, gives a goddamn where you graduated from. All they care about is what.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong, Patrick. They do care. They let Jeff. Jeff is disagreeing with you. Yeah,
Can I say one thing,
wait a minute, Jeff.
Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute, Jeff. Turn your microphone on, Jeff.
Condoleezza Rice was Denning professor in the global business and economy at Stanford.
Have another drink, folks. Yes, Jeff.
Patrick, when you went to Yale or Stanford or any of these places, that goes with you for the rest of your life. If you went to Milwaukee School of Engineering, nobody gives a shit. Okay,
but if you're, for instance, a person in business and you went to Wharton, that's going to be a hiring thing, even throughout your entire career. Hey, he's a Wharton graduate.
That's what Bree was talking about.
I know
forever.
That's what Bree was talking about the other night. Like Wharton has these schools set up around the country, and you go for 2 weeks and pay $30,000, and they give you a piece of paper that says, Wharton School of Business.
Wait a minute. Wait, Wharton, no. Wharton is a little... You must be thinking of somebody else.
No. They have these. They have them for Harvard. They have them for so it's a big money-making thing where people go and they take these courses. They're graduate courses, but Wharton is one of them, and it's right.
So you
Wharton
have to have
already
you've already had to graduate from somewhere else, right?
No, not necessarily. You just got to pay the money.
I don't believe that, Phil. I don't believe it for a second. I know you'll look it up. Go back to
Tony's had his hand up for a long time.
Yes, Tony.
And
he's cleaning his screen.
Tony.
Jeff is right. You know why? When we took my mom to Sloan Kettering, the head surgeon who worked on my mom, his degree on the wall, Stanford. So that means a lot. It has to.
No, in spite of what you think, Patrick, I know that, for instance, my wife works for a financial company, Chinese banking, and all the people there, you know, they say they went to this school or they went to that school, and this is not their first job, you know. So in some schools, whoever said it was right. I mean, if it's the mechanics school of Wisconsin, that's one thing. What are you holding up? We can't read it.
It's the Wharton San Francisco campus. Yeah, it's a block from the Bay Bridge.
Yeah,
and you pay. It's called the Wharton EMBA program in San Francisco. There's these short courses. You pay like $30,000 and you get a certificate that says you attended Wharton.
Well, you attended Wharton and took those particular courses.
Yeah, but
it doesn't say that you graduated from Wharton.
That's a different
story.
Well, that's a big difference, Phil.
Yeah, it's not a scam.
No, it's not a scam, because what they're saying is you can say, hey, you know, I took a course at Wharton in this particular thing, and so I graduated from them in that subject. And in that will carry some weight, you know. That will carry some weight.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not like going to Wharton and spending the $500,000 it takes to get through Wharton.
Did Trump spend the $500,000 at Wharton?
If I know Trump, his father did what Lori Loughlin did for her daughter. Yes.
Well, Wharton's part of the University of Pennsylvania, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yes,
and didn't Marjorie go to the University of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, she went to the rape school. Yeah. I always call it the rape school. She loves that. Did you have your hand up, Patrick?
It's a good school.
Did you have your hand up, or did you want to interject and defend yourself on that whole thing about, you know, it only follows you in the first round? Patrick?
Oh, Patrick.
Patrick? Yeah.
I still think it's bullshit. So I mean, whatever.
Okay, well, no, you're entitled to your opinion. I disagree. I think that, you know, people send their kids to Stanford because they think that if the kid can graduate from Stanford, the kid's going to be in pretty good stead for the rest of his life. Until last week.
Because you don't, like you said, Alex, how many more people might have they done this for? You don't know now.
Oh, this has been going on for this. The problem is, the reason this has become such a sensational story is, and we kind of knew it, we kind of suspected it, but now we have proof positive that this has been going on at these reputable institutions. I mean, there was a guy making some kind of coach or something, making $5 million a year at one of these schools, who took $1 million bribe and just lost his $5 million a year job.
What a dope.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, Jeff.
The old method.
He should be in the warehouse with me.
What?
The old method to get your kids in college is you buy a building and you put your father's name on the building. And then guess what? The kid's now 16. He's in the college.
Oh, he's what you know what they used to call them? Legacies.
That's legal.
They used to call them legacies. And that's legal. That's
$15,000 does not get you a building. Doesn't even get you a parking space.
I didn't think
$500,000. It's like $250 a year for a garage. A month.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you get a parking space in Queens, but not at Stanford.
If there was a parking lot here, I'd be making money.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's you know, it's quite a scandal, you know, and I hope they nail these parents like crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like, what kind of? I mean, they have to be embarrassed. Like, they want you. It's like they're just so elitist. Like, you can't go to the school, but I'm going to pay you to get in, honey.
Well,
so
listen, just imagine being one of these kids in school right now.
Oh, you're right.
You know,
she probably out of there already.
In the case of Olivia Loughlin,
she didn't want to be there.
Well, you know where she was when she found out about this whole scandal?
Yeah, on a yacht in the Bahamas.
On a yacht with who? With who?
With one of the USC donors.
No, one of the USC Board of Regents.
Yeah. I passed a really big mega yacht, and it might have been the one that she was on.
Yeah. Yes, Patrick.
Stupid kid.
The good thing, though, with these universities is these kids can go to their safe spaces and not have to endure anybody making fun of them because they'll have a llama to pet and cookies and coloring books.
And a participation award.
I failed that one too, but you know.
Participation award.
Alex?
Yeah.
Just if I disappear, it means my husband came home late, so I was lucky. He came in and I might have to feed him or something.
Well, the show's only got about 5 minutes left, so you can stick with us. You know,
All right, well, I hope he doesn't drag me out or something.
Either that or kill your husband.
I know I'd like to.
Nobody should
Might have to get the lawyer by the end of the night, Bill.
Avenatti's available.
Yeah. By the way, we have another.
It's a long drive to New Jersey.
We have a new candidate in the American Idol Become President of the United States sweepstakes.
Mr.
Beto? Beto O'Rourke. He's added his. I think the only reason he's running is because it puts him in a nice place to perhaps be nominated for vice president.
Exactly.
You know. Yes, Patrick.
He said he was born to do this. That's why he's doing it.
Oh, God, Hillary was too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
they were all born to do it. They were Manchurian candidates.
To do it, right?
I mean, I think he's a little inexperienced at this point, but then again, so was Donald Trump. But then look what we got. Yes, Jeff.
Do we think from each person that somebody who's over 70 years old is probably too old for this job?
I would say so. Okay, and I'm saying this is a guy who's 79, and I know how my stamina is, and I don't know if I could be, president 24/7 for 4 years at this point in my life. And isn't our former vice president 78, 70?
He's
I think younger than Bernie.
He's younger than Bernie. Yeah,
a year younger. Yeah.
And I think Trump's too old. To tell the damn truth, but he doesn't work very hard at the job, so I don't think he has to worry about his stamina. But I mean,
how old is Sanders?
Sanders is I think
74.
I think he's 70.
74.
I think so.
He'll be 79 when he's inaugurated.
And the other one, Biden.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's going to be 78.
He's 77, 78, somewhere around in there.
Okay,
I think that's a little old.
I think that's too old.
Yeah. I mean, I think, quite frankly, if you want my opinion, Obama was at the prime age to be president.
Oh,
yeah,
Alex?
He was in.
Oh, he was one of the youngest presidents. He's only 47.
Yeah, but the job today takes so much out of you, and takes so much stamina that I think there were younger presidents. I think Clinton was younger than Obama. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, and so was Kennedy, but not much.
Yeah, but I just think this idea of old presidents. There are two reasons why you don't want somebody that old. Number one, stamina. Okay, because it's a very taxing job for most people except for Donald Trump, and it's stamina, and it is also the fact that you're kind of thinking out of the box a little differently. By the time you've reached my age, you're set in your ways. I got to have my pudding every night at 7:00.
You have your routines and all that.
But if you're under 50, say 45 to 50, you're flexible. You're still flexible. More so than believe me, much more so than me. Okay.
Not me.
Oh well, you're 80 years old right now.
Fucking A.
Yeah, he's the codger of our panel.
But all I'm saying is I think that, I would agree with you, Richard. And I'm not being ageist when I say this because I'm 79. I'm an old fart, I'm so old, I'm unemployable, okay?
And you wouldn't even think about running for president, right?
No. To begin with, I'd have to stay awake at meetings,
Yeah, think about the job.
Reagan didn't.
Reagan is a perfect.
Reagan didn't.
Reagan's a perfect example.
He had narcolepsy, or
no, but he was also an older guy as president, and quite frankly, to be honest with you, his last 3 years of his second term, Nancy was running the country because half the time he didn't know where the fuck he was.
Wasn't Nancy going to a soothsayer or something like
what's
that?
her name? What was her name?
What was
I
it?
remember her name.
Angie Dickinson? No. Cynthia Dickinson?
She was going to a foreteller.
She went to a fortune teller.
Fortune teller.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Richard?
Do you remember, I'm talking about presidents, remember Boris Yeltsin in Russia?
Yeah.
Yeltsin.
He was sober.
Yeah, he wasn't sober at all. So how did he do it? I don't know, but he was late and all that kind of stuff. He came and they had to guide him sometimes, and he was in Norway once.
Wasn't Bush an alcoholic or something?
Yeah, he was an alcoholic.
No, she said wasn't Bush. When he was a kid.
Remember he tripped or something and hit his head, and they said it was because he was plastered or something.
So,
that's true.
So you don't want him. You don't. Okay. So now we've said not only should you not be old, but you shouldn't be an old drunk. That's that's the.
But that was in Russia, so I don't know about the difference between Russia and USA. But
don't they drink vodka for breakfast?
Yeah. They actually have a factory, vodka factory that goes 24/7 because
Russia actually has had a very bad alcoholism problem.
Very bad, I know.
Also driving. They don't drive very well there.
Well, but then again, neither does the Prince
And
Philip,
if you experience Russians in other countries like I have in Southeast Asia, they're not very nice at all. I mean,
it's like the Germans. If you go to a resort, they're down there at 7 o'clock in the morning stealing all the chairs putting their towels on it that go around the pool, and then they go out till 10:30. But
I was at the beach. We usually live in Bangkok, but sometimes we take a trip down to Pattaya or Jomtien. I was sitting next to a Russian guy, and he was drinking Jack Daniels, and he was bragging about how rich he was, buying things, and then all of a sudden he got so drunk that he pissed himself.
Well, I hope you all got. I hope you all got good and drunk. I hope you all got good and drunk tonight, drinking every time Phil made a mistake. I want to thank everybody. It's been a nice night tonight. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry that you had to put up with my home movies at the beginning of the show, but that's the way it goes. Jeff, thank you so much. Phil, thank you. Richard, terrific. And it sounds like you're over your cold, so we can actually understand you.
I am.
Yeah. And Patrick, good to see you again. Charlene, nice to have you here. Nice to have a female on the panel. Charlie, once again, my hat's off to you. Oh, it's not ugly. Anyway, and Tony, everybody, why don't you give a big wave to the audience out there, and I'll wave back at you. That's goodbye from the citizen panel. Let me hang up on them unceremoniously so that the next program, which happens to be The Intersection with Jack Bishop, can jump in here next over most of this same Gabnet. I'll see you again tomorrow night, right after Damian Chaplin, who I think is going to do a show tomorrow night. He didn't do one tonight. I'll be here he's here at 9:30 Eastern Time. At 10 o'clock Eastern Time, I'll be back again, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.